Hey friends! Anyone else counting down the days to Christmas? Because I know I definitely am. In the month of December, we're going to be starting a new series called Grateful, where we're going to be talking all about Christmas. And this month is going to look a little bit different than what you guys are used to, because we're going to be splitting up our curriculum between our Youth X Fridays and our Sunday morning services. So I'll let you know what's happening when and everything about this series. So let's get into it. This Friday, we're going to be talking about how we should be thankful for each other. What are your Christmas gatherings usually like? Does everybody always get along, or are they sometimes stressful? Sometimes when I think about my friends and my closest family members, I have a moment where I'm like, how can I be thankful for them? I have like this mental list about the times they've annoyed me, the times they've made me frustrated, and it's easy to overlook the importance of people around us, especially when they get on our nerves. And I know you're probably thinking of some people right now. And we can't always change the people around us, but we can change our own heart when we think about them and when we interact with them. And after a season of struggle, the poet of Psalms 100 knew that thankfulness doesn't start with getting exactly what you want. It comes from the presence of God. And even when things aren't perfect, we can be thankful about God's goodness and His love and His faithfulness. And these characteristics of God have never changed. So when you think about times in our lives that may feel difficult, we can look to God, who is a constant stability. God has created everything, including the people that we sometimes take for granted. So let's choose to be thankful for each other in this week. On Sunday, we're going to be talking all about being thankful for all that God has done. Have you guys ever received a gift that needed assembly before you used it? And I'm not talking about like Lego, where you literally have to build stuff and you kind of know what you signed up for when you receive a Lego. But I'm talking about those gifts that are completely unusable until you actually assemble them. You love the gift, but you realize that there's so much work that needs to be done. And it can sometimes be hard to be thankful because you're let down when you realize that there's so much more that needs to be done after the gift arrives. And Jesus' mother, Mary, received wonderful but shocking news that she was going to have a baby, which is an amazing gift, but think about all the work that a baby creates. In the midst of her moments of confusion and fear and loneliness, she decided to sing a song to remember all of the good things that God has done for her in her life. And if we want to be grateful while we wait and work for Christmas Day to arrive, Mary shows us that we need to choose it. And as we choose to remember everything that God has done for us, we begin to see that we can be thankful for all that God has actually done. On our last Youth X of the season, December 8th, we are going to be talking about how we can be thankful for God's promises. I want you guys to close your eyes and picture this. What was the best gift that you've ever received? Put yourself back in that moment, okay? Maybe it was something that you didn't think you were going to get, or maybe you even told yourself that you weren't going to get, so you weren't disappointed if you didn't get it. I know those ones, and I'm picturing that. But then all of a sudden, boom, somebody comes clutch and gives you this gift. Do you guys remember how grateful you felt to the person who gave you the gift? That feeling of gratitude was probably just as awesome as getting the gift itself. And Elizabeth and her husband Zachariah wanted to have children, but they gave up hope. She longed for a different life, but her expectations had to change. But then suddenly, an angel appeared and explained that despite her age, Elizabeth would be getting a child, and the child was going to be named John. And that was such a wild turn of events for Elizabeth and her husband. And God promised that the people of Israel would have families, and God followed through. Thank God for each of the promises that He has made and fulfilled, knowing that you're cared for, not forgotten, and loved immensely by the Creator of the whole universe. And thankfulness helps us expand our capacity for trust and joy in good and bad times. So let's be thankful of God's promises. On our last Sunday together of the season, December 10th, we're going to be talking all about how we can be thankful even when it's not easy. There are two types of Christmas people: those who love the Hallmark movies and those who barely know that they exist. And the reason for both is essentially the same. They are all so perfect. The scenery, the actors, the story, everything is so perfect. And no matter what type of person you are, you know that Christmas isn't a Hallmark movie. Sometimes it's nice, but it's also messy and complicated. So how can we be thankful when Christmas is a disappointment? Jesus' birth was actually far from perfect. Mary and Joseph wanted to celebrate their baby's arrival and thank God for the gift that they received. But instead, they left their home as refugees to keep Jesus from being killed by a jealous political leader. And they didn't pretend that things were great, but they remembered God's big story and noticed that He was with them and working. And just like Mary and Joseph, God wants to empower us to rejoice and pray and give thanks to God for His guidance and protection. And we can be thankful even when it's not easy, and that's our last bottom line for this series. That is all that's going to be happening in the month of December. Keep an eye out for our Christmas party that's coming up really soon on December 9th from 3 to 5. It's going to be super fun. Invite all of your friends and make sure you guys come up as we wrap up the year together for the series on Grateful. See you guys!